Social Studies Discipline Report, in which we will be looking at the integration of technology today, as well as a retrospective look of how technology was integrated into the social studies curriculum a generation ago in 1993. This is for Duquesne University, GILT 520. Yep, that's me back in 1993, getting ready to graduate high school and ready to take on the world. In 1993, students and instructors in a social studies class had access to a whiteboard. But it was not this kind of whiteboard, the whiteboard that we're used to today, that is both interactive and engaging. In fact, it looked more like this. Even worse, many of us still had to use the old-fashioned chalkboard, which, by the way, has been used in the US since 1801 and is still used today. Let's talk about cutting-edge technology back in 1993. We all think the iPad, of course. Yeah, right. Let's try that again. This was cutting-edge technology in 1993. This Macintosh desktop computer, which had a color monitor as well as a small floppy disk drive, which was a huge improvement from its predecessor, which was a large floppy disk drive, which actually held less memory. Don't even get me started on the internet. When we wanted to do research, it was called going to the library. The internet became public in the early 90s. Before then, it was used for universities, scientists, and some parts of the government, but back then, it was only text documents. And what about PowerPoint? Instead of PowerPoint presentations, social studies teachers would handwrite notes and present them on an overhead projector. Social studies class circa 1993 included any of the following: a teacher lecturing at the front of the room while the class sits in rows of desks, getting all your information from one big, heavy textbook, having to memorize events and dates, then of course regurgitating them on a test, and, how can we forget, promptly forgetting them. Finally, as always, a desperate attempt to stay awake. That was Instructional Technology for Social Studies in 1993. Now picture a class where students put not just Christopher Columbus, but his men and even King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella on mock trial for the mistreatment and murder of Taino Indians, where students read an essay by Andrew Carnegie on wealth and charity, then use that as a jumping off point into activities that illustrate different incomes and the cost of living, and where students learn as often from songs, diary entries, speeches, and posters as they do from everyday textbooks. Internet, interactive whiteboards, internet, and PowerPoint, and that is just the beginning. Welcome to Social Studies circa 2013. Today's student is more likely to communicate via text messaging or through social networks such as Facebook than by face-to-face communication. Students are accustomed to instant gratification, perhaps even expecting similar experiences in their classrooms. So, what does integrating technology into the social studies curriculum mean in 2013? Doolittle and Hicks offer these words of caution. If integrating technology means nothing more than enhancing the traditional delivery system of social studies content, where laptops replace notebooks, where PowerPoint slides replace handwritten overheads, where e-textbooks replace hard copy textbooks, then we will be no closer to the NCSS vision of transformative, powerful social studies instruction. The goal should be not to use technology for technology's sake, but to improve teaching and student learning. So how do we accomplish this? Welcome to Web 2.0. Web 2.0 is an umbrella term used to describe a variety of online, collaborative, and interactive tools designed for the user to generate content, make changes to the content, and to share the content easily and in real time, The great thing about Web 2.0 tools is their collaborative nature, thereby adding to the collective intellect of the class. The blog. A weblog or a blog offers users opportunities to journal, make personal commentaries, and insert links, photos, and other media into one online location from which others can contribute and comment. Here are a few of my favorite blogs. You've got WordPress, you've got Blogger, EduBlogs, and Class Blogmeister. Blogs may be used in the classroom for daily starters, current event discussions, vodcasts, podcasts, or for simple assignments. Students find blogging very engaging, and there's no shortage of topics that can be addressed using a blog format. Blogs are most appropriate for middle and high school social studies students. Let's now take a look at wikis. A wiki, which means quick in Hawaiian, is open source software that enables a user to create, edit, manage, and maintain web content. A wiki can be used as a traditional website or as a meeting place for people to create, collaborate, communicate, and share content. Here's a few popular wikis. WetPaint, PBWorks, and of course my favorite, Wikispaces. A wiki harnesses collective intelligence because it brings groups of people together into one space with the potential either to share information or to create new content through collaboration, for example, Wikipedia. With a wiki, a group of users literally has the ability to create something new online with little to no startup costs. And with cuts to the education budget, this is an extremely important part of Web 2.0 technologies. Wikis allow the teacher to assign the project and to monitor the students as they work independently and collaboratively. This allows the students to develop ownership of their work, which should be one of the major goals in the classroom. When students have ownership, they are more likely to submit quality work and enjoy the process. I recommend you read Curriculum 21 by Jacobs. In one of her chapters, she actually describes this phenomenon where students, when they know their work is being submitted to someone besides just the instructor and is being basically put on public display, put more of themselves and effort, and their quality just increases exponentially as a result of that. In addition to that, wikis are great because you can actually monitor exactly what students are doing what work. So there's no longer that he said, she said, I did all the work, they didn't do anything. The teacher can actually see exactly the amount of work and content and effort each student puts into the wiki. Wikis are most appropriate for middle and high school social studies students. Let's now explore digital media sharing. Here's a few that I really like. You've got iMovie, Audacity, Flickr, and TeacherTube. Digital media sharing, or multimedia sharing, encompasses the widespread dissemination of multimedia information and content over the internet. Users contribute multimedia content and information freely to these multimedia sharing sites. Not only is digital multimedia content shared at the sites, but other users may download the content and comment on the shared media. Contributors can also organize content through the use of tags, which helps individuals locate specific videos, photographs, and music. Digital editing resources: PhotoStory, Movie Maker, iMovie, Adobe Premiere. And these are all great tools to create digital stories and obviously to capture the video. Flip video cameras are very popular, as well as traditional video cameras. You have digital video cameras and mini disc video cameras as well. Audio resources such as Audacity, GarageBand, iTunes, and Odeo are perfect for creating podcasts. They're also great for going back to the old-time radio stations and radio programs. Think of sort of FDR and his fireside chats. Photo editing and sharing such as Flickr, iPhoto, and Shutterfly are perfect for capturing all your images for other applications. And with TeacherTube, and if you have access to YouTube, they are ideal for digital video sharing. Projects involving digital media sharing can be scaled to accommodate practically all students, elementary to high school. With Web 2.0 technologies, it is critical that our students understand and abide by digital citizenship rules. With the easy access to a variety of digital content, one must consider and teach copyright and fair use issues. Now let's explore social media. Social media provides the ability to break the limitation of course management systems, enables innovative and collaborative interactions, connects textbook knowledge to real-world problems, and facilitates personalized, constructive learning. Popular social media. You have Twitter, Facebook, and my favorite, Edmodo. According to a study, learners enjoyed and appreciated the social learning experience afforded by the combination of the online social network and the employed pedagogy. Learners supported one another in their learning and noted that they perceived their learning experience was enhanced by their interactions. Social media is most appropriate for middle and high school social studies students. Now let's explore interactive games. In a recent study, the majority of pre-service teachers agreed that digital games do have the potential for promoting learning in an educational setting. Here are a few examples of interactive social studies games. Food Force, Viking Quest, and The Far Is Dying. Interactive games are most appropriate for elementary and middle school social studies students. So what could possibly be left to discuss? Too many technologies and not enough time. Here are a few more technologies that can be scaled to accommodate practically all students, elementary to high school, in a social studies class. Google Earth, WebQuests, Hyperbook, Glogster. Discovery Education has practically replaced the old VCR and VHS tape. You have Shamoop, Skype. Think of the possibilities with Skype in a social studies class. You could actually connect with students and teachers over in Spain and talk about their perspective on something such as the Spanish-American War. You've got virtual tours and Second Life. You can view different museums, and you can go places back in history that you can't go to today. Of course, you have things like Moodle, and you have now with the interactive whiteboards, clickers. But replacing those now is something called Poll Everywhere, which now you can use your cell phones, you can use your smartphones, you can use your tablets to actually be able to do pretty much the same thing you can do with the interactive clickers. And how can we forget tablets and the iPad and of course apps? A school district out in California created History Whispering, which was a collection of the most popular social studies apps on the iPad. Sources. These are my text sources. My image sources. For 1993 images, citations were with each individual image. As for 2013, the Web 2.0 image, sources for the blog image, sources for the wiki images, sources for the digital media sharing images, sources for the social media images, sources for the interactive social studies games images, and finally, sources for all the additional technologies shown at the end. Thank you. I hope you've found this informative and interesting. Have a great day.